Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I'm Helix.
Hey, I'm Nettle.
Hi, oh my
Hi.
god. Welcome to the fucking podcast.
Fuck yeah. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
It's going pretty alright. We're back again.
Back fucking again.
Yeah, have you been up to anything?
Oh god. I've been watching stuff, for your ins.
It's pretty good still.
Pretty good still. I watched I'm in Love with the Villainess. This is pretty good. I mean, okay. I know you haven't finished it, and I know it's like basically my fault you haven't finished it.
Uh-huh.
But I want to talk about it.
You can talk about it, that's fine.
Okay. Here's what I have to say to everybody who saw I'm in Love with the Villainess and was just like, okay, that's kind of cute. And just like, are moving on with your lives because like they stopped the show right before it gets the best it gets. That's so fucked. Mad. It's fucked.
This is the curse. So, you know they're not gonna make more of that shit, right? Like,
yeah. Like, there's no fucking way in hell. Like, if it got a second season, I would fall over dead with how happy I was about it, right? But like, they're not going to.
Right.
They're never going to.
We're never gonna get second season of fucking Other Side Picnic. You don't get second seasons of Yuri shit. That's just the way the fucking world works. I mean, like, not that I even feel that strongly about the idea of a second season of Other Side Picnic. I thought the adaptation was like pretty underwhelming.
Right.
And like most of what I really like of that comes more from the books than from that show. But like,
Yeah. So, that's just my message to everybody is just like if you thought it was kind of okay, go read the light novels, please. It's like really good, actually. It's like an all-time classic for a reason.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll do that, or maybe I'll continue to like never read anything.
Who maybe. Knows? Lol.
Anything could happen. My ability to like read comes and goes arbitrarily.
They didn't even get to the part where one of the princesses is a trans girl, right? Like, ugh.
Fucked.
Fuck,
what are we even doing here?
Can I talk about this trans girl? Because actually I like...
Okay, yeah, go for it, sure.
No, I just think it's really sweet. Spoilers for like stuff that is not covered in the anime of Villainous, by the way, I guess. But, one of the princes is like a trans girl, and she goes to live with her girlfriend like in the church, like as nuns. It's like really sweet. It's fun. It's just kind of an interesting situation, right? Because like, it's one of those classic like, oh, we have to live in the church as nuns, but like, they're up to shit.
Yeah, they're up to shit.
You know what that's about,
right? Like in fucking, you're being like a fucking like magic fantasy world nun. You're fucking other women.
You're fucking other women, and so I don't know. I just think that's like a beautiful place for a trans girl to go.
Okay.
And people are going to like argue with me about her being a trans girl, but like I fundamentally disagree. Like that is like a direct like parallel like brought like.
Okay. Well, hopefully nobody decides to argue with you, like lest they be like fried instantly.
Right. Like she's literally transgender. Like they literally came up with like a fantasy reason why someone would be like cis and transgender. It's one of those like received a curse as a baby to always like appear as the opposite sex until except under like a full moon situations. But she knows on the inside that she's like actually a girl, and it's like I
get you. Yeah.
Having a hard time with it when Ray's like, wait, I know what that's about. Oh no.
Yeah, I've been like in very much like, okay, like the end of the year is coming up, and I feel like I want to like make myself just like clean up the few things that I've been like sitting at around like half or over halfway through, and just like wrap those up before the end of the year. I'm gonna try and finish fucking Trails of Cold Steel 4 finally, which I like talked about on this podcast like months and months ago. But like I'm gonna fucking finish the fight now. I'm like on to like like the next time I like load that up, I'm gonna be on to like last like do your last bit of like, you know, side tasks before the final dungeon stretch of that game. So, you know, I'm doing that. You know, I'm gonna try and finish Witch of the Holy Night. You know, I'm gonna try and get all those sort of like outstanding things done, so I don't like go into the next year with like a bunch of like, shit, I'm in the middle of these things hanging over my head, and then maybe I can just like let myself fucking play Xenoblade 3 finally. That's where I'm at. I don't know. You know, it's like hard to say like, oh, I have a lot to say about any of that because I'm like just in the middle of some things, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna like close the book on these, and like maybe I'll have thoughts after that. But like, you know, right now it's just like, you know, I'm doing like house cleaning on my like various outstanding like obligations I've created for myself.
Yeah.
That's about where I'm at. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to talk about in regards to this stuff?
No, not really. Do you want to just get into our episodes?
I would love to get into our episodes of Naruto.
Badass. Okay. I mean, what else are we here for, right?
We're literally here to, you know, research and document events occurring in and around the village and in the leaves.
Mm-hmm. And transgender sex.
That doesn't happen on the podcast that much.
No, it doesn't.
Maybe one day.
Maybe. Episode 182, Reunion, The Remaining Time. Natsuhi and Akahoshi tussle for a sec before Sumeru and the rest of the kids show up. Natsuhi falters after seeing her kid for the first time in years, giving Akahoshi the upper hand. He presses his advantage by grabbing Sumeru with his purple. The kids all get mad at him for choking out a boy. Akahoshi tries to pull some boy controlling to convince the kids all is all right, and everyone should want to die for the village, but Neji sees through it. Akahoshi isn't too bothered, and just decides to kill the boy if he doesn't get what he wants. Natsuhi relents, and lifts up the big rock only she can lift for some reason, and now that Akahoshi has the star, he knocks her out and runs off with his goons and most of the kids behind him.
Okay, alright.
Woof.
Woohoo! Yeah, Natsuhi and Akahoshi are fighting. You know, Akahoshi is doing his like sicko shit. He's like, you know, I mean, he's forgotten any sort of subtlety at this point, and he's like, you know, basically just like mocking Natsuhi by the fact that she's like sick and dying, and as thus is like her powers are weakening. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like it maybe casts his ambitions in like a bit of a negative light when you've got like, oh, here's like the strongest living like practitioner of this technique who is like dying in front of him. You know, I don't know. It's like
yeah. It's he's really bad at making plans. This guy.
Yeah. It really you know.
He's just not fantastic at the old thinking before you yell things.
Right.
And having what does this guy think? Okay, hold on. What does this guy expect to happen?
You know, I mean, I guess what he expects is there to be some sort of like equilibrium reached between like new kids being trained and kids like fucking getting mulched in the fucking like training chamber.
Right, but like
to like to have a bunch of like short-lived super weapons or whatever.
But like you need to have that like influx of children first. I feel I feel like you can't just burn through all of your kids trying to get there, because like you can't make kids that fast, and there's only like 10 of them in the village. It's a little place, dude. Like
yeah, no, it's definitely a sort of thing where it's like we've talked a lot about the like unclear scale of the village here and the way that it kind of like makes the plot seem like it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I like, you know, in this episode and the next episode, we finally see some other guys, like, besides these children and, like, his two goons. But it's still, like, I don't know, right? Like, it still feels,
yeah.
And, like, I don't know, like, maybe the point is that this guy just fucking sucks at everything, right? Like, I don't know, maybe the point is that he's just, like, fucking a guy who rushes in over his head and, like, creates his own problems. But it's still, like, I don't know, right? Like, it's still sort of, like, I feel like there's a recurring problem of, like, trying to, like, create villains who feel like they're, like, scaled well to where, like, Naruto and friends are, but then also, like, as the arc goes on longer, you just kind of, like, have this, like, ongoing thing of, like, oh, this guy sort of sucks at everything.
Right.
like to the point where it's like frankly kind of unbelievable that he got this far. I don't know. This is something we talk about like later, right? When we get into the like stuff that happens in like the next episode, right? But it's I don't know. So what were you saying?
They should have picked two like. What are all the Akatsuki members that we know about right now?
Like at this point, Naruto, like ones who've appeared, like
yeah,
like not counting ones who are like in the manga, but like haven't like been adapted in the anime yet, or what?
Yeah, I mean, maybe counting them like roughly if the selection's too sparse, but
because like I'm pretty sure it's just Itachi and Kisame right now.
Right.
Without like taking into account that like, oh yeah, like Deidara and Sasori are like definitely in the manga by now.
Yeah.
Hidan and Kakuzu might be.
I just think this whole like anime original stretch,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot would be solved if they just picked two of the Akatsuki to be the Team Rocket the whole time, and just be the cause of every problem that happens.
Right. Okay, well, by Team Rocket, do you mean they get their asses kicked at the end of every arc? Or, like...
Well, they get, like, thwarted and chased off.
Okay. They're like...
Wait, that should be us.
Wait.
I mean, okay, it's fanfic anyway, right?
Right. I just feel like putting, like, two Akatsuki guys in that position of being like... fuck, we need to leave constantly is, like, definitely undercutting those guys if we, like, do that with them for like 100 episodes.
Right, which is why it's better if it's OC Chucklefucks.
Right, okay. Right, you have like... You have like, oh, there's this, there's these guys who are like stirring up shit in all these tiny villages or whatever.
Right.
And like maybe they like run off with the star at the end of this arc or whatever, right? And they're like...
Right.
They're like gathering up like fucking... little objects of power and shit, right? Like, you know.
Yeah.
Like sometimes Naruto like technically fails the mission because he like comes back without the thing he was supposed to get because those guys got it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something they could have done.
Right, just like, you know, if Naruto's gonna have to be in it as much as he is, which we'll get into that later. I think it's better if there's like a recurring like relationship to the bad guys, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just like it would like build stake and like build interest and like make it would pull a lot of the work for like introducing like a twist or like a spin on like, oh no, like, and like going to a thing and like finding out like how they're involved, right? Because like you already have a lot of the legwork of like that guy's like abilities, intent, and motivations, right? And so it can pull that it can pull that weight without like needing so much further exposition every single little thing, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? Like
right. I'm just kind of rolling over the like utility of like that kind of recurring character. And I think I really like it for like this kind of stretch of Naruto.
Yeah. Because without it, it's just like, okay, yeah, like we need to like keep like introducing guys and like undercutting their presence like just enough for it to be like, oh yeah, like Naruto could defeat him or whatever, but like it often winds up being like unsatisfying and like doesn't, you know, like it never like builds to anything really, right?
You know, and then you can like have it can be like a whole thing, right? Because then you lead up to the end of the thing where like they're not going to be characters anymore, and like Naruto finally actually defeats them, right? It's like beautiful and perfect.
Right, like I definitely get that sense. Like I wish there was like, I don't know, like I wish there were like some guys that the people like making the anime like really cared about, like trying to sell to us like for like 100 episodes that they had or whatever, you know?
Right.
I'm like, I don't know, maybe the constraints just didn't work for that. Like it's impossible to say like what motivated it to be like this, other than like, I don't know. I guess it's like Naruto has the framework of like, oh, you go like on a mission to this place, and then like you come back and you go on another mission to this place already.
Literally, Orochimaru could just be up to shit.
They've done that sometimes, like sort of. One time we turned a guy into like a tiger and then old because we thought it would be funny.
Yeah. True. But, like, consistently, right? I don't know.
One time you let a guy be really bad at making fish, man. I don't know. We're kind of wandering all over the place. But, like, I totally get that frustration of, like, I just wish there was, like, something, like... I wish I was watching a show that felt like it was trying to do anything, right? Because it doesn't make good use of the, like, comparatively episodic stories that it's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyway.
Akayoshi and Natsuki are fighting for a bit, and then, like, you know, all the kids from the, like, training building show up. Fucking Lee and Neji and Tenten show up. You know, they all, like, yell Akayoshi a bit, which really, like, it really feels like it kind of collapses the, like, I talked about last time about how, like, you have those moments of, like, Naruto, like, looking at this village and, like, turning over in his head the idea of, like, oh, like, this sort of, like, putting these kids through this destructive system to, like, you know, increase the power of the village is, like, kind of, like, you know, basically what's going on everywhere, right? And I feel like it really, like, collapses the possibilities based on that. To, like, have everybody show up here and, like, just yell Akayoshi and be like, no, you don't do it like this. There's, like, you do it the nice way. You do it like you just do it good. You don't fucking, like, put them next to a rock that kills them. You just make child soldiers normally.
Yeah. You don't kill them yourself. You have to stir up conflict so someone else does it.
Like, you know, again, it's not necessarily like I expected anything different, but it still is, like, you know, like, when you have those, like, moments that are, like, comparatively quiet and, like, introspective, it still is, like, kind of disappointing to just see it, like, collapse back into, like, okay, all right, this is the level at which we're engaging with the ideas here, because, like, ultimately, like, you know, Naruto, the manga, or the anime don't really have a strong sense of what to do with that part of its setting.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Akayoshi gets, like, a guy's yelling at him. He, like, fucking... He does his fucking, like, boy control trick on Sumaru. He, like, you know, grabs him, and he's, like... He like, does this thing where he, like, acts out this fucking, like... bit of, like, convincing Sumaru to, like, be on his side and be like, oh yeah, I do love dying for the village, actually. And then she's like, oh, he's, like, totally mind controlling that guy. But I do think it's, like, kind of funny. Like, I was just like, yeah, I'll just, like, I'm just gonna, like, fucking use my, like, possessing a guy power that I have, again, like, of the many abilities that the Star Chakra has, which, like, I mean, you know, like, I do think it's, like, very funny that he's, like, putting on this, like, act of, like, yeah, see, I'm totally convincing people with my words here, but and you know, he's like trying to, like, establish his own legitimacy here and be like, yeah, everybody agrees with me. See, I have fucking put my chakra on this boy, and now he says whatever I want him to. And now he's like, yes, I love dying for the village. I'm gonna put my knife up to my throat so my mom stops fighting you.
Good shit.
It's like it feels like a misplay, honestly, right? Like, to be like if you're already, like, mind controlling the kid or whatever, like, I feel like you just have him go attack his mom, and she's, like, also not going to fight back, and then, like, you know,
right? Or maybe it's not that good. Maybe he still just has to hold him down for it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, regardless, you know, that combination of actions and, like, Neji's ability to see shit is like, oh, okay, this is fake. But, like, it doesn't really matter, right? You know, nobody's able to, like, interfere at this point, so Natsuki goes and picks up the big rock. I love that she just, like, lifts up the whole huge fucking, like, boulder structure.
Yeah.
That the, like, tiny little, like, fucking container is in. Like, she just, like... like, earlier she just, like, moved a big rock over, like, an entrance to it, and,
yeah, but this is more cooler. Or maybe the little rock is just a secret entrance for her, so she doesn't have to pick the whole fucking thing up every time. But she needs everyone to, like, think you have to do the whole big thing.
Like, in case she goes and, like, takes it back and, like, hides it again, like she tries to do, like, she'll just be like, yeah, you can only
Right. Well, I mean, you know, you still don't want to, like.
But they already saw her fucking opening up the fucking small rock with her past vision.
Right, but. Look, if you're a shinobi, you gotta, like, you still gotta be safe about that stuff, you know? It's just like, OPSEC is like second nature, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I would imagine happened here more than anything else is just like, oh, I bet like, these episodes are being like produced like largely in parallel, right? Like, and like, maybe there wasn't a communication of exactly what like covering up this thing with a rock was like, so you get
right.
You get this difference between like moving like a boulder over the entrance and then just picking up this giant fucking like rock dome that's over the thing.
I mean, I think the dome's cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it definitely sells the like, oh, only she's the one with like a big enough dick to pick that up.
Right. It was like, okay, the thing we do is like explode this whole big rock rather than being like, sliding it one stone over an entrance somewhere. I get that. Anyway, fucking Akahoshi has the thing back, and she's like, well, shit, that's our job done here. I guess we have to leave.
God, Neji should be so much more conflicted about this.
Right, yeah.
Neji should be so in love with Naruto right now.
Right. Like, he should be like I don't know. Like, it feels like he's really confined by the role of, like, needing there to be a guy who's like, oh, well, like, we're not supposed to interfere, right? But, like, I don't know. I feel like...
Right, but like the Chunin exams happened, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like, there's nothing of the Neji who is like that willing to like place his faith in Naruto or whatever as like the thing that like fundamentally changes his life. He's just kind of the stick in the mud guy. Who's there to like prevent the plot from being resolved for like the next episode and a half. Like, I get why you like want to have that conflict, and I almost get why you put Neji in that position, but it just feels so like unwilling to commit to the fact that he's like a different guy now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to say about this half of the episode?
No, let's move on.
Okay.
Naruto points out the star Sumeru thinks is his mom, and Lee casually informs him it's actually the planet Mars. Naruto wants to take Natsuhi's side in the conflict, but Akahoshi is literally their contract holder, so killing him is the most failed the mission could possibly be. Natsuhi and Sumeru reconnect, but Natsuhi sneaks out in the middle of the night. The kids notice and chase after her, but she's killed by Akahoshi before they get anywhere. Sumeru feels that she's gone and grows wings of purple to rush there sooner.
Yeah, so, we get like a little bit of a continuation of the argument about like, what are we going to do from here, right? Because we want to go and, Naruto wants to go and help his friends or whatever, and like make sure a bunch of children don't get fucking like killed doing this. But like Neji's like, no, we got to go home. We can't like. We can't like cause like we can't like enter into open conflicts like with another village like this. We can't like actively like sabotage our own mission. It's going to be bad for the Leaf's reputation. However, what we can do is go to do a mission somewhere and then like come back with like multiple fugitives from the government we were contracted by. That part's fine.
That part's fine. Yeah, God, imagine if they just killed him. Imagine being a shinobi and like getting the reputation is like, oh yeah, don't fucking hire the Leaf. They'll just show up and kill you. It's a really bad look.
Yeah, they'll just show up and they'll do a coup if they don't like your vibes. So, like, I don't know, probably don't get them involved.
Yeah, just be careful. I'm like, okay, to be fair, yeah, be really careful about getting the Leaf's help.
Yeah, no, absolutely, right.
If fucking Leaf Shinobi just showed up and killed you, they literally would be cops. Like, they're already kind of cops, but like that would push it over the edge. That's just what cops do. The conversation of like, oh no, you can't just fight this guy. You can't just like stroll up and kill him.
Right. Yeah. It is
because then everyone will know that the Leaf Shinobi just show up and kill you if you hire them, and that's bad.
Right. Which I guess is like, so it's sort of like a complication of like the thing you're talking about, like with how Neji has to like be the guy of like, um, the guy who's like, no, we can't do this. That like from a narrative perspective, I get like it is weird if Leaford's the guy who like uncomplicatedly like show up in a place where like I know what I need to do here, and then they like kill the guys they don't like, and then they like install the guys that like into power, and like they've done that before, but like usually only when they're hired to.
Right. It's like, yeah, it's just about who hires you. And like there is a vetting process, sure, but like, it's secret bad guy. That's the problem with the secret bad guy, is that sometimes the cops like them. Throws a brick at Michelle. throws a brick at Kishimoto.
Yeah, so all that's going on, like meanwhile, like Natsuki and Sumaru get to like reconnect, and there's this like, I wish this was something that got to like, I don't know, be a little more fleshed out. I wish it was like something that got to be like a little more complicated or whatever, right? Because you have that bit of like,
Yeah.
Like Natsuki is like, yeah, I mean, I thought about coming back and getting you, but like, I don't know, I didn't want to like put you into like this unstable situation. I didn't want to like, just like take you away from like everything you knew like with me where like I might die or whatever, right? But like it's not something that we get to like see them like navigate. It's not something we like really get to like
oh, my
see.
baby boy, I'm sorry I left you to be raised by Fash.
Right. It's not something that we get to like see them like resolve the complicated feelings, but like even like sit in really, because like ultimately like Natsuki is going to need to go like die and then be the protective perfect ghost mom.
Yeah.
Just lame. It's
Yep.
unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, like later that night, Natsuki like runs off like while like Sumaru is asleep. Goes directly back to like just like, yeah, okay, I fucking gave him the stone back, but I'm just gonna like walk back to where they keep it and take it again. Which like I admire the gumption.
Wasn't she gonna explode it?
Was she gonna explode it?
Yeah, I think she was gonna explode it. I think she was just like, all right, this is fucking over. I'm destroying this.
But arguably the right call.
Yeah.
With what we know now, anyway, like at the end of this episode, anyway. Not getting into anything else. But yeah, she's interrupted by Akahoshi being like, yeah, I'm gonna show up with all of the fucking guys in the village who have like now told to like come and join me. We see like at the end of this episode other like Star Village guys for the first time ever. And they're like, yeah, okay, Akahoshi, we'll like go with you to like, I don't know, like protect the star or whatever. I don't think anything else to say about this episode.
Nah, I mean, just she gets got.
She gets caught. She falls down on the ground. She's like drawing her like perfect sigil on the ground. She's like bleeding out.
Yep.
She gets that shit really precise,
Well, I mean, you got it. You're a ninja.
That's true. But yeah,
right.
that's that episode.
All right, let's move on to the next one then. Episode 183, The Star's Radiance. The rest of the kids pick up the pace to catch up to Sumaru, where he finds his mom dead in the star chamber. Akahoshi wants to kill the boy, but his goons are starting to have doubts. Sumaru swears to kill Akahoshi over his dead mom, when the building explodes, probably killing him. Hokuto tells the whole village, who've gathered around to watch a boy be exploded, that the star training makes you sick and kills you. Akahoshi brushes it off, claiming only those that don't love the village enough can't handle the training. Mizura walks up and shows everyone his awful dying body. Everyone's starting to have doubts, so Akahoshi grabs someone's crossbow and takes aim at the sick and dying child. Some people here are normal and get between him and the kid. Akahoshi demands that they all be killed and admits to killing the previous leader, so the rest of everyone gets normal about the situation too. Akahoshi shoots Mizura and shoves the star into his chest.
Yeah, so Naruto shows up, realizes, he's too late to like stop everything from going bad, fucking Sumeru's mom is already dead. Sumeru's like rushed in there. He's like surrounded by the fucking, Neji's like, okay, we can't do anything. We just have to like sit here and watch this boy be exploded. Boy gets exploded. Naruto like remembers all of their conversations they had for like a minute and a half of like straight flashbacks. But Naruto's really feeling like he's been put through the emotional ringer. He wants to help here, but he can't. He just saw his best friend Sumeru explode forever and die. It's all fucked.
God, he was so in love with that boy.
Yeah. He saw that guy wanted to be a Hokage, like, not Hokage, a Hoshikage. He's like, oh fuck, we're gonna be best friends forever.
Oh well.
Do you think like Gaara heard about like Naruto like immediately hitting off with this guy? I was like, oh, who wants to be the Hokage, the Hoshikage? And Gaara was like, shit, I should be a Kage too. I'm gonna work on that. Maybe Naruto will love me then.
Probably that explains everything.
Yeah. But anyway, everybody like launches a million bombs at the fucking like the bomb tanks at the fucking like dying children building where like Sumeru's holed up. It explodes. And then Hokuto, the girl, runs in to be like, hey, they're doing shit to us that kills us in there. And Akahoshi doesn't really handle the situation particularly well, I would say.
Okay, what I love about this. One, did nobody know?
Right. It's like, it really feels like the fact that none of the other people in the village appeared at all until this moment, like, kind of strains the credibility of it a little bit, right? Like,
right. Or I wonder if this is supposed to be like a pervert little like culty side branch of the Greater Stars Village.
But like, I don't know,
because everything we've seen so far has like really centered this like star and like its lore and its like history with the village around,
right,
around the star training, right? So it's just like
I don't know, do all these kids like not have parents? Does like nobody like I don't know, like does nobody like
did nobody notice the sick and dying child? Right.
Like, did it... Like, I guess they're kept in, like, a separate building away from the village or whatever, but, like, it's still, like, I don't know, like... nobody... Like, none of the fucking other adults in this village, like, seem to have thought about it, and it's, like, not a story that's about the way that they, like, turned their back on it, right? Because they weren't fucking there, right? Like, there wasn't, like, a... There's no, like, building tension for this, like, moment to be, like, a boiling over thing, and it's just, like, we have guys here to, like... disagree with what's happening here now that they know it's happening, but like there's just no sense of like where they were beforehand. There's no sense of like
right, and it just like it really takes the wind out from under fucking like Akahoshi's whole situation when the only thing holding back everyone from like rioting and killing him was like them not knowing the fascist plot he was going to try and win them over with. Question mark.
Right. It's like
you can't tell them that the star training hurts you, but everyone will have to agree that the star training is good and beautiful and perfect for the village. And everyone will think it's like totally cool that we just send children into the meat grinder.
Right. Did he just send like every fucking like adult star shinobi like off on like long missions, and he's like, oh, by the way, while you're gone, I'm gonna start the star training again, and then, like they just got back and like saw what's happening now, like
right, like
because again, like the instant anybody like knows what's up, they're like, oh, this is fucked. So it's like it requires everybody to like either not know or be like fundamentally like disinterested in the like core plan that their like village leader is like undergoing to like revitalize the village or whatever. Like they just need to like and they're like not surprised that the star training is happening. They just don't know anything about it, and I don't know, like there's nothing to like make that be like a conflict that like existed beforehand. Something like make that work. It's just
10 years. It's only been 10 years. Each and every one of those adults there like knows star training kids that like got sick and died, right? Like,
presumably, yeah. It's just like. There's just like a lot of like setup for like this to be the climax for these guys who like didn't exist, like functionally like didn't exist like an episode ago to like be like crucial in like turning this around, right? Like,
right? Do you know how much more sense this would make if like none of the other people here were shinobi?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because like ostensibly every village has like a bunch of like normal ass people that like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Live and work there like it's a fucking normal place to live.
Yeah.
You know, to like support the village, right? If it was just like a bunch of fucking villagers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they were like, wait, what the fuck are you doing? This is the star training does what? You're fucking crazy, right? I don't know. Like making them all fucking like star Jonin or Chunin or whatever is just like so...
Right. Like, or like the thing you could do is like, if you wanted them to all be ninjas, like maybe you like have a thing running through the arc where it's like, oh, like all of these kids are like orphans or whatever, and these are like the fucking, you know, they're like war orphans of the fucking star, and they're like all like sequestered off in this village, and like everybody is just like kind of like consciously like ignoring them until like it's put in front of their face, and they're like, okay, shit, actually we need to like do something about this. This is horrific, right? Like, I don't know, like it's just like, but they just weren't here, and like also like.
Right, because then that can also tie into fucking... God. I can
Right? Like, but instead like, you just, like, introduce the fucking, like, 50-guy military might of, like, the Hidden Star who, like, instantly disagree with the plan when they know it exists. But also, it's not, like...
Right.
Secret, because they, like, bring in guys from other villages and instantly tell them about it.
No, but also can, like, okay, if it's literally just a bunch of fucking, like, war orphans that are being, like, subjected to this and, like, sequestered off, like, can you fucking imagine how much weight that would put on fucking Natsuhi?
Right.
Like, literally being away, being the thing that is, like, subjecting Sumeru to the star training is, like, ugh.
Yeah, like, there's just, like...
There's so much more juice there. What the fuck?
I don't know. It's just anything to make this not be like inventing a crowd to be like shocked at like Akahoshi's like bad debate where like Hokuto's like the star training makes you sick and die, and then he's like actually it only makes kids who aren't patriotic enough die. If somebody dies from the star training, it's basically because they're a traitor to the village, which doesn't get him very far. Because then they see like an actual like sick kid walk up with it like, ah shit. That kid's dying. This is fucked.
Yeah, then Akahoshi's like, well, I just said they're basically traitors to the village, so better
make good of them. Better shoot that kid.
Better not make a liar of myself.
Yeah. Which, like, you know, ultimately, if I could ask Lisa to be like, yeah, I knew that the star training kills you, and I killed the fucking, like, previous Hoshikage because he wanted to stop it, and I think that's good. You should think that's good too. And, like, you know, it doesn't work.
This guy really needs to pick up some people skills.
Yeah. I like the fact that like this is like instantly where he goes. Like the moment he's put under pressure is so like I don't know. Again, it just they didn't make an arc where this could be the climax to it, right? Like they didn't make 5 preceding episodes that built to this one.
I want the end of that other story.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely, right?
They just had to wrap it up, so they made the bad guy go absolute sicko mode.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And he activates his fucking psycho form. He decides to fucking put the rock in him. Let's, I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to say about this half of the episode, or?
Nah.
Okay.
Akahoshi explodes into purple and has a bad-looking transformation. He starts blasting everyone with his huge chakra dragon. Neji's finally like, alright Naruto, you can fight this guy. So Naruto charges him. but gets overwhelmed and thrown into the rubble of the exploded building. Turns out Natsuhi used the last of her dying chakra to set up a seal that triggered when Sumeru was in danger, protecting him and letting her stick around for a bit as a purple chakra ghost. Naruto uses her as a jetpack to Rasengan the star embedded in Akahoshi's chest. The mission has technically failed, but it was cancelled anyway because Akahoshi was a sicko. Also, the kids get medical treatment in the Leaf, so the star sickness isn't actually an issue for anyone.
God, I've like complained a lot about like the way that Neji's like conflict here isn't really like presented in a way that feels like it's tied into his character, right? Because I think that's like something they could have done, but I do kind of like the image of him just like kind of like sitting here like weighing the options and be like, okay, all right, the guy who hired us turned into a big dragon, now he's personally beating the entire village to death. I guess that's like worse than us. Like yeah. I guess that's like a worse look than
Yeah, you just got to make those decisions as they come.
Yeah, he has his bad like sicko form. I don't remember what I say about his sicko form. It just doesn't look very good. It's just not it's just not especially cool, right? Like, I don't know why he gets like kind of buffer and then just has like chakra blasts go everywhere.
Star. Also, he should be mega dying.
Right. Like it is weird that like the thing it goes for is like, oh, it makes him look more like physically like imposing and present, and not like, oh, it's like withering his body away or whatever. But also he's like, you know, fucking killing everybody with his like superstar powers.
Right. Yeah, if he was just like a fucking Breath of the Wild mummy in there.
Yeah.
Badass. With his orb?
Mm-hmm.
He should have been literally dead in there, but still controlling the Chakra Dragon in the same way that
like Nazi activates her like ghost chakra or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I like the idea of like a post-mortem like still being able to like control the chakra that's like left over from your body is like pretty cool.
Right. It's just like, oh, here's this like remaining like will of like some shit you want to do, and like because this guy is like completely in over his head, is like, yeah, I'm just like lashing out and I'm gonna like fucking like break everybody who doesn't like my shitty plans.
Right. And I think that's cool is just like literally a thing that the Star Chakra just does.
But like instead we get is like Naruto like tries to find him for a bit and gets like beat up, and then Natsuki activates her like fucking like protective ghost mom mode. And it just feels like because there's no like, I don't know, like the Star Chakra powers feel very fucking Calvin Ball with it a lot of the time.
Oh yeah. Like, I'm sure they're all based off of, like, stars and, like, the stories that go, you know, the stories, right? There's a reason that they're all, like, animal forms and, like, bird wings and, like...
Right. Like, I don't have a problem with...
as they fly away. No,
I don't have a problem with that. It's more just, like, you know... It's more in the sense of, like, oh, this... You can, like, mind control a guy and see the past and, like, become a ghost to protect your son.
Right. And then it's just also like that was the part of it that made sense to me, right? Like I liked the idea of like the Star Chakra being a thing of like, oh, it makes it like really easy for you to just like, you know, project like a solid state of chakra that you can slip around into different shapes, right? Mm-hmm. And I like the idea of the different like animal forms being kind of like kata, so it's like easy to like make fast and like do an attack if you like do the same thing over and over again and you learn it as the like thing. And like I think that's like cool how that then ties back into like the culture of the village, because like yeah, obviously their stuff would be like star based because it's like all of their like children's stories and stuff are like based off of like the sky and like all of that stuff because of the meteor is so important. So like yeah, like the way that all ties back to each other makes like really good sense as like a cultural thing that they're doing, like with the Star Chakra, with the ability to like project your chakra in that way that the star gives you naturally, right? I think that's like really cool. But that's not them writing it that way, right?
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, I don't know, because it just kind of feels like, oh yeah, this is like a powerful ability that they're fighting for, and then it's just kind of like, yeah, it can do this thing now. I don't know. It just kind of like collapses any like real interest in the character story, like I talked about in the previous like like in the previous episode, where like like fucking like Natsuki isn't like a mom who made some like decisions and like things were kind of complicated, but she cared about her son. She's now just like the fucking like perfect vision of like dead mom, which is like I guess this is more in line with like the recurring idea throughout Naruto, right? Like fucking like Naruto's mom is this, Gaara's mom is going to be retconned into this.
Yep. Lol.
But
Cries. Whatever.
Like, I don't know.
Fine.
It's like it's just kind of frustrating to me, right? Like,
yeah, it turns out Naruto's not very good at having women in it.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and she becomes like a very like movie ass like Rasengan power up form.
Oh yeah.
I like that whenever Naruto makes like a shadow clone in this scene to like help with Rasengan, it like creates another fucking like.
Yeah, it just also has a. Yeah, it just also has a Ghost Milf jetpack. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Akko's just fucking dead. We have to fucking get out of here. We have to go back to the Leaf. We have to fucking like wrap this shit up now. Cut like straight to Sonata's office. Just like yelling at them for a bit, and then she's like, actually, that's what I would say if everybody didn't think it was really cool that you killed their like interim president. So like it's all good. They go out, they find all of the like all of the kids who are dying of the like star sickness are going to be like healed, and they're going to make like a full recovery. And
I want to yell about this.
Please do.
Oh my god. I get the appeal of having a sick and dying child, and then at the end of the arc going, and they're gonna be alright after all.
Right. Like, you want to, like, push all of these characters off screen at the end and be like, yeah, fucking Sumaru is totally going to become the Hoshikage later. He's gonna make that a big and important village. And, like, Mizura isn't going to die of his illnesses, and it's gonna be okay. We're just shoving them off screen where they can be, like, perfectly happy forever. But
the whole thing was about how the star is literally killing kids. And if all it took was going, hey, these kids are getting sick, let's send them over to Leaf real fast to see if they can figure out how to treat it. Like, if that was the thing that they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just would have been fine.
Right.
Like, there would have been no problem.
Right, like, the conflict of the arc ceases to exist if you could just, like, have, like, a doctor be like, yeah, I'll, like, counterbalance the thing that's killing you, and you keep fucking, like...
Right, because, like, okay, it's not good to do that to your body, probably, right?
No, like, probably there's still, like, a cumulative, like, negative effect or whatever, but, like, I don't know.
That drops it down into, like, normal shinobi shit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god, they fucked this up so bad.
That's the end of that, right? Like,
yep.
Yeah, okay. You want to move on to our next one?
Well, I also want to give it a little bit credit.
Okay.
Because it is also true that the village is like really like insular and like defensive of this like thing that they have, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So it's not like they'd just be like...
So I get it that they wouldn't immediately just like, hey, here's secret information about the star, and what we do with it. Can you make our kids not die, right? Like, I get them not wanting to go that far. I especially get Akahoshi not wanting to do that, because he's a fucking sicko, pervert, idiot bastard.
Right, but it still undermines the, like, everything going on here if it's like, oh, there was a way they could have done it good, but they didn't, right? Like...
Right.
Yeah.
Even if it was like now that the star is like destroyed, the chakra doesn't work anymore, and so it's not like getting worse and worse of a problem for everyone that's sick, and like they can probably still be alive now that it's not like now that the situation has changed and all that stuff, right? Like, that's different. too, if it took destroying the star, right? Because then that's like, yeah, they did the good thing, right? But it wasn't that. No, they were just still also sick, and then they just also got cured.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, next episode. Episode 184, Kiba's Long Day. Oh no, Akamaru might have gotten monster poisoned by an enemy ninja, so Tsunade has Naruto keep an eye on him and Kiba for the day. Later that night, Naruto interrupts Kiba and his sister talking about how Akamaru is sick by getting attacked by Akamaru outside their house. Hana does surgery on Naruto's pants, and he goes on his way to report to Tsunade. Naruto tries to brush off the severity of the situation when Shizune bursts into the office saying there's been an attack on some Leaf Ninja. Everyone agrees that Akamaru did it, so some Anbu show up to take the Wappi into custody. And Naruto yells at Tsunade about it, but she tries to reassure him that the ninja doctors are working on a cure, but if it doesn't work, they might have to put him down.
Okay, so I guess I kind of want to talk about like how I feel about this episode broadly, but like I'm curious, how did this one work for you?
I think this is like a good example of like the kind of like story that can make for like a good like anime original, just like one off, right? Why is Naruto here?
Yeah, right. Like I'm of a very similar mind, right? Because it's like, yeah, like this is like probably like maybe in some ways like still like the best like single episode story, because it's like we get some time with like, you know, characters we know and like a story with like very contained stakes, and it's not like here's some annoying guys who show up to do some like bad comedy for an episode, which is like the usual like one single episode Naruto story.
Right, and like it could act as like a little bit of like a spotlight on like Kiba's sister, and being like, oh yeah, here's a little bit about like Kiba's sister that like maybe you wouldn't have like caught on to if you were like just watching the anime or whatever, right? Like
yeah, and like the broadest like at the broadest level, I think it's like it does a pretty smart job of like, you know, like latching onto a few things we know about Kiba, a few like things that came up about him like during his fight in the fucking like Sasuke retrieval mission, and like building off of that. But why is Naruto here?
Why is Naruto here? Like, literally in the beginning, Naruto just gets a mission and just, like, go watch Kiba for a day.
Right. It's like, because it's like, I think you could even, like, tell this story in a way that has Naruto in it, but I don't think it works like this, because the first thing that happens is Tsunade, like, goes to Naruto and is like, hey, here's this, like, really, like, sensitive and upsetting thing that's happening with, like, one of your friends. It's really difficult for him. I'm going to need you to, like, go and be an impartial observer on this. I'm going to tell you all of the particulars of what's going on. I'm going to, like, keep you in the loop of some shit that's, like, going to be, like, upsetting for you and probably drive you to act impulsively. Just go handle that well. Like, it doesn't make sense that you would have inserted him into this story in this way, right? Like, it doesn't, like...
Right. Like, Naruto would just be the guy that finds out and helps. Anyway,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, right? Like, I don't know, like, the thing to do, like, the thing I would do if I was like, okay, Naruto has to be in this one, which I don't think he does. But, like, if I had to put Naruto in here, I don't know, I would, like, have Kiba, like, loop Naruto in and be like, yeah, some guys are trying to get my dog or whatever, right? Or, like, maybe Akamaru's already been, like, taken and he's like, hey, Naruto, you need help me get my dog back or whatever, right? Because,
right. Then, oh my god, can you imagine if the episode started with Kiba, like, tracking Naruto down and being like, Lady Tsunade really likes you, so I need you to help me.
Right, yeah. But, like, I just don't, like, he's not the guy you would give this job. He's not the guy you would, like, be like, hey, go see if this dog is sick, and then, like, report back to me if you think it needs to be killed. Or whatever, right? Like...
Right. Okay. Also, can you imagine? Also, what could be happening here is that Tsunade was literally just like, Naruto, I have a mission for you. Go hang out with Kiba today. Right? Just go like talk to him, see where he's at. Make sure he's good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but like it's just
if it was just like a pretense of just like knowing that like, okay, these kids are probably going through something rough, I'm going to like make sure he has like a friend around, right? It's like a way more characterful like thing for her to do with like, I don't know. I feel like I feel like she is the kind of person that will do something like a little bit tricky so that
Mm-hmm.
something that like so that something is like easier for somebody, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
I feel like she does like nice little manipulative things.
Uh-huh.
Um,
But it's just I just don't think it works. I just don't think it works like this. I think that like Naruto's like presence in the way that he is present like undercuts like the time that could have been used for like I don't know, like establishing any of the other character stuff in this episode that I think like broadly works, right? Like,
yeah.
because like, I don't know, like Kiba being more like it's not a hard sell to be like, hey, you know Kiba, the guy who has like an adorable puppy that he fights alongside. Something bad is happening to his puppy and he's worried about it. Like that's like very easy to like get you like sold on, right? Like I think that like you know I think it like lands that pretty well. Like there's the bit where like you know like fucking like Shino's bugs like start attacking Akamaru like right away. And he's like not able to call them off easily. It's like kind of harrowing. It's like kind of scary. I don't know. Like you don't want to see bad stuff happen to the dog.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Also, I like to imagine that the reason that the bugs acted that way is because they were also infected by whatever thing is, and it just wasn't a problem for Shino because he immediately just found out about the thing, isolated the infected insects, and had them killed.
Uh-huh. I like the general thrust of the episode of like Kiba being this guy who's like I don't know, like he's like so worried about his puppy, he's like so unwilling to like you know like put his like safety in anybody else's hands and like let that risk be like you know like he wants to be the guy who's like watching over this even though there's like you know people who are more qualified to like develop like medicine for his dog, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I like the way that kind of like pushes things and like makes it like you know be kind of like escalate in the second half of the episode is like. Yeah, like I think that makes sense for like who he is and like where he's at, and it's just like nothing about like Naruto having a mission to like go after him like helps with that.
No.
Like a mission to like spy on his dog like helps with that, right? Like,
Yeah, so Kiba's having a rough one, huh?
he's having a bad time. He's just like you know his dog's going pretty rough. He's not like as energetic as he used to be, and he's like worried some bad shit's gonna happen. You know, he's like. You know, the people in his life are like trying to be like, yeah, there's like possibility to go well, but like also trying to be like realistic about like, you know, the fact that, like, hey, maybe like maybe this goes bad, right? And like you should be like bracing yourself for that, even if like, you know, it's not like impossible, right? Like
everyone in his family remembers when their first dog died, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. And like they also know that Kiba is a guy who's like, you know, like this is something that like came up where like Kiba is the guy who's like a little bit too like, you know. Like, he isn't, like, distancing himself from his puppy in that way, right? Like, he's not, like...
Yeah, no, Kiba, like, you're making this dog your best friend, we have them as ninja hounds. Like, you need to understand the difference there, bud.
Right.
Maybe the next one. Maybe we'll get you a home dog and a ninja dog.
God.
Then you take the home dog outside doing your ninja stuff, and you bring the ninja dog home to play with your home dog, and then it's just two of the same fucking kind of dog that you have.
Right. Like there's a reason they haven't like scaled Cube up to like multiple dogs.
Yeah.
And like you know, I don't have a problem with that about Kiba. I think it's like sweet that he's like you know. He's like this rough and like rowdy boy who's like maybe like a little too soft for the line of work he's in. Like I think that's
right. And okay, it'd be cute if like he and Kakashi had like a relationship bonding over that.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be cute if Kakashi loved his dogs a lot too. But so far as I can understand, they're just roommates.
A strictly professional relationship with these dogs.
With these dogs that all live in my house.
Yeah. You know, Kiba's like sitting there. He's like going through it, and like he hears like Naruto yelling outside of his house because Akamaru's attacking him. And like it's like both like, haha, Naruto's funny ass is getting bitten.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, oh no, Kiba's like worried about you know, he's like worried that like Akamaru is doing this, and like you know, Naruto, like, I don't know, it feels weird that, like, we have both the, like, opening, like, Naruto has the plot explained to him, and, like, also the scene of him being, like, pulled into it, right? Like, I don't know, like, it feels like...
I think Naruto tried to frame the situation as "I'll funny my ass" to try and make Kiba feel better.
Yeah.
Because that also carries through into what he was talking about with Tsunade, right? How it was just like, it was just "now funny my ass. Don't worry about it, please."
Yeah. But, like, the fact that, like, he's the guy who, like, goes and, like, gives that report to Tsunade and is like, no, it's actually not a problem. It's like, I don't know, it's like, this is the predictable response, and, like, it feels weird that he was given that job, right? Like...
Yeah, exactly.
And it feels weird that, like, anybody even needs to be given that job, because, like, everybody's already, like, monitoring it. Like, all the fucking, like, Inuzuka clans are, like, working with, like, Leaf, like, medical, like...
Yeah, Naruto is
company,
strictly in the way now, right? Like...
Yeah. Like... I don't get it. Because, like, she has, like, other reports about what's going on that, like, Naruto wasn't there for, right? Like, she has, like...
Oh my god, do you think it was supposed to be a little, like, nice manipulative, go hang out with your friends? And instead Naruto took it too seriously and is actually giving reports.
God.
Like, Naruto, honey, this isn't on paper. This isn't a real mission. You don't have to you don't have to come and keep talking to me. Just go spend time with Kiba.
Yeah, like, honestly, that's gonna, like...
Like, I just wanted you to hang out.
God, and, like, I don't know, like the fact that, like, when, like, when the Anbu show up to, like, fucking, like, arrest Kiba, or, like, arrest Akamaru, like the fact that, like, so much of the, like, follow-up to that is, like, Naruto going to yell at Tsunade about it is, like, I don't know, I don't think he needs to be, like, centered in this episode in this way. Like, I don't know, it's, like, very...
Right. No, I mean, like, I don't mind Naruto going to yell at Tsunade about it, right? I think that works, and, like, I think the result of that, like, the thing that, like, Kiba ends up mishearing, and that, like, leads into the conflict in, like, the second half of the episode, right? I don't mind that, like, I don't mind that conversation between Tsunade and Naruto, like, being had, right? This is just that should have just been, like, after Naruto heard about it for the first time and went to go yell at Tsunade about it, right?
Right, because, like, so much of the episode's already been dedicated to, like, I don't know, like so much of it has already been dedicated to, like, Naruto, like, needing to go in there and, like, I don't know. It's frustrating structurally.
Yeah.
I think that carries to the second half of the episode.
Yeah, you just want to... I mean, do you just want to, like, go for it and talk about the whole thing? Because...
Yeah, let's go for it.
Kiba shows up to visit Akamaru and sneaks him out, so Naruto chases after him while Tsunade sends some dog-healing medicine with Hana. Naruto catches up to Kiba while Akamaru is a big dog monster. Kiba tries to fight him off, thinking everyone is chasing him to try and kill his dog. Hana shows up and tells Kiba about the serum, and how it might not work, and if it doesn't, they gotta do what they gotta do. Naruto and Hina work together to subdue Akamaru and inject him, but they fuck it up, so Kiba has to do it. Kiba does it, letting himself get bit pretty bad so he can get close enough to deliver the medicine. Kiba's fine, though, because Akamaru loves him and didn't want to hurt him after all.
Right, so the start of this episode is, like, Kiba going to, like, he's like, leaving the, like, veterinary clinic or wherever Akamaru is, and he's got Akamaru in his bag, and I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, I don't know, I feel like giving so much screen time to Naruto is, like, it takes away from, like, I don't know, like as it stands, it just feels like
it would have been nice to see, like, more of that happen, right?
Right, because it just kind of feels like, oh, they, like, fucked up really bad here. Like, Akamaru, like, Kiba, like, leaves through the front door, like, with the dog that he, like, clearly came there to get. Like, I don't know, it's like...
I don't know, I feel like a hospital puppy heist would have been pretty cool to see Naruto the show.
Yeah, right? Like, I feel like it would have been, like...
I feel like that should have been the like, main conflict for Kiba in the first half of the episode, instead of just, I don't know, I feel like you started the show too early and had Naruto in it for the first...
Right?
Like, Kiba absolutely should have been the one briefing Naruto on the situation, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure. He runs off with his dog.
Naruto's conversation with Tsunade should have been a fucking distraction for the puppy heist.
Oh my god, yeah. It would be so good.
Right, because obviously she would have been, like, there, like, working to fix the situation, right?
Yeah.
Oh
and like
my
Naruto
God.
and like Naruto could like for the first time get that perspective of like, oh, okay, like Kiba is like handling this like a little bit poorly. Like he's not like willing to like, you know, like he's like too scared of like the risk of his puppies and to like let like, you know, people try to help, right? And like Naruto is like realizing he's like playing into that or whatever, and that could be like that could be like a thing that like, you know, ties him into the conflict of the episode more.
Right, like Naruto just like gets like a broader picture of what's actually happening here and is like, oh, I need to go talk to Kiba about something. And then Kiba mishears the like, we have to put your dog, we might have to put Akamaru down, right? Like we're gonna have to put Akamaru down if that happens, right?
Right. And like he like leaves before like meeting back up with Naruto, and like Naruto has to chase after him or whatever, right?
Yeah, oh my god.
But like Naruto just always has like such a like clear and perfect understanding of the situation that like by the time he's like catching up with Kiba and like by the time like everybody's like having their big confrontation, it's like it just feels like Naruto is there to like do his barkies about like, I don't know, like what needs to happen or whatever, and like it undercuts like Kiba's ability to like have his little arc in this episode.
A real shame.
It really is a shame. It really is a shame because like, I don't know. I guess I do like the core of this here. I do feel like it's like, you know, this is like like it's like this is like kind of the sort of episode we were like asking for, right? And like I don't know. It's I just wish I could be more enthusiastic about it. I wish it wasn't so. It didn't feel like so like compromised by like a bunch of like weird like structural decisions and like a bunch of weird priorities about like what to put on screen and what to like make the show be about. Like, you know, like he has this thing of like he needs to like go and like, yeah, like you know, his hesitance like makes the situation spiral out of control, and he like has to like take that risk of like, okay, like maybe something bad happens, but also like maybe it works out, and like he needs to like move forward, and like he takes it into his own hands, and like, you know, he goes and saves his puppy, and like it works out okay because his puppy loves him, and it's like it's sweet. I wish it was like I don't know. I wish it was. Sorry, I'm like.
No, it's okay.
I just wish it was better. I just wish it was better, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they had all the pieces. They had all the pieces, and they like shoved a bunch of them out of the way to like fucking jam Naruto in there. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I put a bunch of like granular like stuff about like what happens in the episode like on my fucking like outline here, but like I don't know. I feel like I have like a ton more to say. I'm just kind of like.
Yeah. I mean, is that it then?
I think that might be it then.
All right. What are we watching next? What are we watching next week?
Next week, we are watching episodes 185, 186, and 187 of Naruto.
Well, and if you can't wait, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/Konoha Crush. All one word, Konoha Crush. For just $3 a month, you get access to our episodes up to a week early, and for $5, you get access to our bonus show, Narukai Uzumaki. We talk about like isekai and isekai adjacent stuff. Right now, we're kind of poking through the second half of Sword Art Online Alicization. So, if you're interested in that, keep a lookout because we'll be recording that here in the next little bit. And God, what else? Oh. While I'm on the Patreon, I want to offer a very special shout out to our Joining Tier patrons, Izzy and Subspace Skater. Check out their stuff at subspaceskater.com. All one word, Subspace Skater. Make sure you check out their comic.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You know, I don't know. She's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Shout outs to a bestie.
Shoutouts to a bestie.
Shoutouts to a girlfriend. Okay. What else?
I don't know.
I stream on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cutting back the streaming schedule a little bit just to refocus on some other projects, but we're still going. We're going to be streaming Lethal Company on Fridays with the two of us and another girlfriend of mine. So make sure you check that out. And I've been thinking about cutting stuff together and like having more of like a produced content on a YouTube channel. So I don't know. Keep your eye out for that stuff too. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I also stream on Twitch. I am over on twitch.tv/verdictvelvet. I'm working through like a large scale like playthrough of every Fire Emblem game. I've been like kind of wondering if I like want to like increase my like stream load, in comparison with like you a couple years back. But like I don't know, we'll see if how that goes. How like I feel about that after like a little bit. I can't make any promises right now. But,
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
very least, you can catch me on Wednesdays streaming Fire Emblem, and I think it's always a good time.
Badass. All right, hey, thanks for listening, everybody. And don't you fucking dare forget, there is no such thing as filler.